Hey everyone, before we get started on this week's super fun draft episode, please give me just a moment to give a quick thank you to our newest Patreon supporter, Ryan Knoll. Dude, thank you so much for signing up. It truly means the world to us. We're really happy to have you. Thank you so much. All right, man. Twitter blew up last week and everyone's talking about it. What are we talking about? Festival of the Century?
Yeah. Pretty young century, but sure.
Right. So yeah, emo Twitter just kind of absolutely imploded with out of nowhere. There was one of the biggest festivals I've ever seen with all of the bands that we love. When We Were Young Fest.
You thought Hella Mega was mega.
Oh my gosh, this is hella a mega.
Whoa.
Did you get tickets?
You know, Tom, it wasn't in the cards this year. I didn't get my stuff together in time, and then it sold out before, I don't know, it sold out before I even had a chance to think about it. Time when you're inside all the time goes slow and fast.
How could you let that opportunity slip, man?
Tom, I need you to understand this. Because you also are in the same position. You're a dad. I don't know. I have a child, infant, baby, so got to pick your spots. Maybe if there was another week or so of think time, I would have been able to justify it and figure it out. There's a bunch of weddings that have been delayed over the past 3 years that I may or may not still have to go to anyway. So there's kind of finite amount of vacation from work and things like that. But it just wasn't in the cards. It wasn't in the cards, man.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, I didn't get a ticket either.
You son of a bitch.
And you know what? The f***ed up thing is that I was even on the checkout page. I made it through the wait. I had an opportunity to buy it, and I thought, nah. That's even more f***ed up.
It was interesting, though. You know what? Let's just start the show, because we got some things to get into.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast.
So it seemed like the site crashed for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
They did themselves no favors for... Well, let's back way the hell up. They announced. Twitter went nuts.
Yeah.
And there was maybe 45 full minutes, which is an eternity on Twitter, of only joy.
Pure,
right?
Unadulterated.
I think you opened your Twitter app and it said you had approximately 14,000 notifications from everybody hitting us up, wanting to talk about it. And then people started to be like, it's only one day.
Hold up. What?
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Everyone gets to play one song. And so then they start railing against it, and then people are making meme versions of everything.
Yeah.
All the, the set list obviously goes nuts. Who got left off? Who's weirdly in there? Nothing against Car Seat Headrest, but also why Car Seat Headrest is involved with this show. It's just kind of everyone is talking. To quote Origami Angel, talking. Anyway.
Gami gang.
So then they're like, we've added a second day. And everyone's like, yeah. And it's like, the second day is going to be the same as the first one. So you can hit the stages you did in the first day. And everyone's like, what the f*** are you talking about? Anyway. So
oh, God.
there's people, the bands were tweeting you think a bunch of expert bands and concert people are going to mess this up? And people are like, yes. And the event is, I don't know. It's been kind of scrutinized a lot. Everyone's chatting, well, we should still go. We survived Warped Tour, this, that. And then the site crashes and it's like, oh boy. But it must have worked for enough people to have it sell out. So it took about a day, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it might have been even a little less.
People had a week to think, and then it was gone the day they went on sale. So it was getting write-ups, Rolling Stone, AV Club, all that stuff. Non-Twitter entities were made aware, a bunch of millennial emo kids just, blah, 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 taking over the internet, whatever. This is an insane lineup. I think, on the show, we treat it like a niche, but really people are... I don't know. I say this sometimes, but the fact that the show Pen 15 exists means millennials are old enough to content create enough that we're entering the boomer phase, I guess, of our generational lifespan. So I think it's not as niche as we think maybe. People know who MCR is, but I don't know if it broke the internet for a day or not, but it was top of mind. And we did this for the episode we're about to do anyway. We did it when MCR got not back together, but they were going to do a show in LA pre-pandemic. We tried to guess the set list. And then when Hella Mega got announced, we did like a set list draft, but of course we couldn't do a full set list guess for all three bands. So we just like did a mixtape episode. Obviously we can't do that here either, but we are going to attempt to, score on that sweet SEO and have an episode called the When We Were Young set list mixtape draft episode or whatever. And because I know we are not going, but we thought about going to the parking lot and like pulling a young Mayday parade and like tailgating with the pod and interviewing people. We were going to do that on the Motion City soundtrack reunion tour that got kind of canceled and delayed earlier this year. We were going to go in Charlotte. With a lot of ideas floating around, but like as young dads, it just wasn't in the cards. So we're still going to do the episode. We're still going to be excited about the fact that this is even happening. Can I just ask you, like, when you saw that, that's probably the most exciting concert poster in 10 years. I don't know. Like, I feel like concert posters were huge in like 2012. Like when people were like, oh, dude, Bonnaroo, gotta go to Bonnaroo. It's this, and then festivals became what they became in the 2010s. This is the first one in a while where I was like, whoa. I don't know. What was your initial reaction?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that Riot Fest exists and there was Warped Tour and there's the bigger ones that you think of, but none of them are really catered to like our niche. So even though this is not big news in like the music world itself, in our little corner of it, it is. And yeah, part of me is like really bummed out that I'm not going, but there's like some like professional conferences that I'm trying to go to this year. And honestly, I'm trying to go to Vegas in August for a week of filming of BattleBots. So like, I don't know if I can spend that much time in Vegas, but anyways, it feels like such a big deal, but only because it's our tiny little subgenre. Like this stuff happens all the time. Like really there's not that much to talk about, but like rarely does it happen to us.
How about this? There have been emo bills. There have been little tiny recreations of this and that. I think there's like 4-Chord Fest and certain other things, and Eve 6 picks fights, or maybe the music festivals pick fights with Eve 6. I'm not sure which way it goes, but music festivals are still a thing. They still happen, and there are still like emo pop punk 2000s tilts to them. This was the most, I mean, there's like more than 50 bands on there, and I think so many of them are directly in our scope, I guess. We talk about the branches of the tree. I guess the trees become a thing. I listen back to episodes and I'm like, man, we really talk about this tree, but I've never addressed the tree directly. The f*** are we talking about? Anyway, there's a lot of bands we talk about on the show, on this bill, and it's pretty ambitious and it's very exciting. I will say it's exciting. Not that it's like the first time an emo show has ever been put together, but MCR, Paramore, you get a lot of emo Twitter. I mean, we're talking about Paramore's 6th album coming out this year. I guess they're saying later this spring, new MCR is going to come out. I think ever since that LA show that MCR did, people have still been waiting to see them tour. That's been like a running emo Twitter joke. My sister-in-law actually saw that LA show, and she's going to go to this one. So she texted us. She's like, "Were we going?" I'm like, "F***ing, I wish." That'd be really swell. That'd be dandy. But no, so living vicariously through her yet again for another really big MCR, chance to see MCR. But yes, I guess like it demands our attention, if for lack of a better way to phrase it, right? I don't know. Any closing thoughts before we like roll the dice and get into this thing and start breaking down who's on the bill?
I'm curious what you think about the cost.
You were like, dude, it's $20. I'm like, dude, it's $20 down. Because we talked, I mean, we did, it was big enough of an announcement that we like spoke on the phone in the middle of a work day. Like at lunch, I called you. I was like, this needs to be addressed in some fashion. You were like way ahead of you. What is the actual cost?
I think it was around $250.
Yeah. You know, we talk about music festivals all the time. And in Scorchfest this year, you broke down the, I guess like whether or not going to a music festival is a good experience, or whether or not it's like okay to claim that you prefer just going to see a good tour with a band you like and the supporting acts are great. And it's 3 or 4. Hella Mega wasn't even really a blowout. It was just a great bill almost. You know what I mean? We talk about, you know, our 3 or 4 bands, the sweet spot. You get 40 to an hour and a half kind of sets where you get a little more intimate. Maybe you hear more songs. Maybe they play a favorite of yours that they don't normally play that night in that city or something like that. But this kind of stretches the limits of like the second day, same day thing is honestly deranged. I don't get it at all. Like, we hear you, we're doing another one. And we're like, you didn't hear us though, is what's interesting about you thinking you heard us, is how much you misunderstood our complaints and our concerns. Yeah, I haven't been like super, I don't know. I think you and I, on this show, we're just like, it's okay to be like kind of, music festivals can be so great. I remember, like, I think there are certain times of day at the music festival that are more enjoyable than others. There's the overly hot early day stuff, and you're just kind of sweating it out. But I think the last one I was at was Bunbury in Cincinnati when I lived there. And Young the Giant played, and the sun was setting on the river, and the skyline, warm, beams of light were bouncing off the downtown buildings and stuff, and we were just along the river, and everyone was like right in that sweet spot before the night got a little weird. And we were after the sweatiness of the day. It was just kind of cooling off. And they played this really like, not psychedelic, but like, I don't know, it was a perfect set for the sun setting along the river at that time of day. I was like, man, music festivals are fucking amazing. Like you're right in that sweet spot. But the percentage of music festivals that are bad is rarely zero. So, I don't know.
I mean, I did say that, like, I wish that I went to more Warped Tours, but at the same time, it's not like the window of enjoyability of a festival like that for me is pretty slim. Like you were saying, there's a moment where it's feeling good, and then it just gets to be like too much. Like I remember being it was either 07 or 08, and like Norma Jean was playing really, really late. And I remember being so excited to see Norma Jean. And then by the time they were on stage, I was like, oh my God, I just want to go home. Like it was, we had to travel 2 hours to get to Cleveland or Pittsburgh or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's so much, but also something that I feel like has always been a staple of our genre is like really affordable tickets. I mean, Vans Warped Tour, I just Googled it. The average price is $35, Pat.
Yeah, Warped Tour was interesting because you see those signs, like, especially on our, on emo Twitter, and everyone who listens to the show will post old pictures of just like printed out 8x11 printer paper that says don't mosh, because then you'll get hurt and sue us, and then we can't do Warped Tour. And it's just like, hey, we are barely holding this thing together with like, whatever, right? So I think the prices reflect probably what it actually takes to do one of these things. You know what I mean? Because Warped Tour is probably like, nobody's really making much off this. It doesn't seem like. We're just glad to be doing it. Here's some water in a can as a souvenir that, won't hydrate you. And actually nobody can get their hands on any of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so Jason Tate, who's the founder of Chorus FM, he was doing some back of the napkin math, and he thought this 2-day event would have made between $20 and $30 million. I mean, obviously that's gross, but like, I don't know, man. Could the tickets have been cheaper? And maybe that's just me being used to Newfound Glory $7 tickets, but like, I don't know. I don't want pop punk shows to be the same price as Bonnaroo or some shit like that. Like, it's just a different thing. I don't know. It feels like culture shock to see tickets this expensive.
I'll play the devil's advocate there. Is it kind of nice to know that like so many people are like, yeah, this is fantastic. Like, does it justify your like High School Musical tastes for a ticket of this or a bill of this magnitude that cost what it costs, which is like pretty on par with other music festivals from the 2010s? Does it like, I don't know, does it bring you any sort of justification in your mind that like, MCR and Paramore should headline a bill that costs this much to see because they're fucking great?
No, I mean, I do think that they're worth it, but I guess I'm just not used to it. But also, like, the other angle of this is that I would rather than see 50 bands that are very good in an outdoor festival experience, I would rather catch a tour with one of these bands in a proper venue with the lighting, small room, good vibe. Like, I'd rather go for quality over quantity. That's
a preference thing we've talked about on the show, yes. I think. But, and also it's the Warped Tour glasses we look back through it makes you kind of be like, maybe we shouldn't be so hard on Warped Tour. as not that we rag on him all the time or whatever, but it was an insane thing that happened for probably longer than it deserved to, longer than it should have. And it's kind of just crazy any of it happened at all. We should get into the episode, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it was a lot to wrap your head around. And I think we'll probably be talking about many aspects of it as we pick songs. I think the one rule Twitter asked of us is that if a song from a band gets picked, we can't return to that band, you or me. It's not just we can't repeat. It's like overall, like if you take a Taking Back Sunday song.
Was it Gabby that
I think Gabby asked for that, and either she wanted us to do an episode where we picked a song for every band on the poster, or we couldn't double up. And we are choosing to interpret it that way in the spirit of time. Although, if we're thinking in the spirit of time, we just talked a lot about Warped Tour. So anyway, let's get into it.
I'm ready for this to be really, really difficult, but I've got the dice.
Yeah.
What do you want, evens or odds?
I went evens last time, so I'll go odds this time.
Bad move, man. Okay, here we go. A 5 and a 4.
Bad move, man. I'm not like, didn't do great on my AP statistics, test in high school, but I think it's like hard to have a bad move when you're flipping heads and tails. Going if your options are one or the other.
Well, what did you say? Odds? So I guess you won anyway.
No, I got it. But the certainty, you were like, bro, what are you, a fucking clown? Odds? You're an idiot.
Well, I didn't take a math my senior year, so maybe that says a lot.
Like, can you be bad at calling heads and tails? Basically, essentially. I was like, okay, I'll go second and third because I think I did okay last draft. It's a valuable set of picks, so I'll let you go first. Take one off the board, and then we'll take it from there.
Alrighty.
I'm already self-conscious about how much we talked about. Like, I could feel how 30 we were as we were discussing ticket prices and shit. I'm like very worried everyone's going to turn on us just for publishing this episode. Just a couple of dads thinking about the consequences. What it reminded me of is that commercial where you become your parents or whatever. It's like, let's not talk about leaving the show before we get to the show.
So I don't know whether to play the game or to pick what I actually want, which is always the hard thing.
Let's do this. This is an insane festival lineup. Enough negativity. This is wild. So pick what you think should be. I don't know if you're saying this is the best band or the best song, or maybe what you want with the first chord you want to hear that day if you did go. We spent some time questioning whatever logistics. It's ambitious, whatever. Let's hop on the hype train for a quick second. This is a crucial pick because I think it says a lot about how you view the field, and I don't know. There's a lot of firepower. Avril Lavigne is going to be there, so. Let's just take a minute and realize the weight of what's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know if I'd worry about playing the game at this moment because it's not like there's a lack of bands on the bill.
All right. So if I'm not playing the game and I'm picking the first thing I want to hear a lot of feedback. I want to hear cymbals crashing, just kind of washing out.
Oh.
And somehow there's still a screen over the stage and you don't know who's about to play. And just hear that, whoa. And then Nerve by The Story So Far starts is how I would like.
Ooh. Saucy pick. I like it.
Yeah. I go back and forth between that and Empty Space as my favorite Story So Far songs, but I think I'm going to go Nerve this time. I think that would set this thing off at a good pace.
Of all the songs you've sent to me, that I still listen to like daily pretty much. Empty Space, Empty Space, you sent it to me, I think when we first started doing the show, it was one of our songs of the week. And I was like, I don't know. I had never heard that band before. And I was just like, yep. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Interesting. Okay. Because that makes sense too, because it's probably earlier in the day. Not because they're a band that deserves to play earlier in the day. It's just the firepower is insane.
Yeah.
So that might actually be the first sounds you hear. Is that something you could picture them opening a set with?
Yeah, I think if they open with that and they close it down with Empty Space, like really bookend their set.
Yeah, because it's got to be tight. So you're gonna like get some pretty you got to I guess it's an interesting, I'm sure bands have their like, okay, if they're giving us 10 minutes, we could do these ones. If it's a late night set, we do these ones. If it's 20 minutes, we do these.
Right.
I'm sure they're like, have been on the road for enough years where they kind of know what their 20 looks like.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like it. I like the pick.
Dude, I'm so hyped already. Like, even just thinking about that song. Oh man, I'm gonna be exhausted by minute 3 of this festival.
Yes.
That we're not going to.
Exactly. I made a promise to our Twitter followers that I would pick this next song first. The Feel Good Drag by Anne Boleyn. And I pick it because they think we hate Anne Boleyn, which, hey, look, Anne Boleyn's fucking fine. It was actually a WERG song when I was interning in high school for the radio station. What was interesting about working at a radio station was like, it was just rock as an umbrella pretty much.
Yeah,
so like there was no niches, no, whatever. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure, Anne Boleyn. Even though Anne Boleyn kind of falls under the umbrella of the show. I'm picking it first because Was This Over Before It Began is not a bad set of lyrics to define how Twitter went for the When We Were Young festival this week. And that song rocks and the band's good. And I had made a promise to our followers that I would pick it first. Okay, let's do this. You know this is coming, I think, Tom. Is this the event where we get to see King for a Day with everyone involved singing it live?
Yes, dude.
Because there's so like every pick we picked today, I feel like is going to have like an element of like, could this be the most insanely great thing possible? Yeah. And they're both bands are going to be there. I mean,
oh man,
like anything's on the table, right? Because this is absurd. We're at the, pandemic, whatever, end times, like whatever. I have to imagine this is on the table, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
Sometimes the veil pierces you, as it were. This is a song we did this episode for my birthday last year. It goes out of decade a little bit, but sometimes we've been kind of stretching the boundaries a little bit for special occasions. Plus, 2021 was defined by this song just kind of taking over my life and kind of like understanding what 2010's Warped Tour was and reading up on it a little bit and just kind of like understanding who Pierce the Veil was and Sleeping with Sirens and everything like that. What an explosive song. What a good song. Just for the playlist you're going to make based on this episode alone. But I can't believe that just the fact that they could do that if they wanted to is an amazing thing that my knees kind of shaking just thinking about it. Like, man, the video's so good. Don't even get me started. I'll stop there.
They would be nuts for not doing it live.
Wouldn't they though? You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. You have to do it. You have to do it. All right, that's it. We're keeping I feel like we're one round in and we're already going long, but I'll try to keep them as quick as possible. But you gotta. Also, what a song, right? All right, you all know.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, our picks can go out of the decade for this episode, right? I mean, some of them have
for
to.
Sure. Yeah, this is a celebration of what the concept of this festival, which is an insane concept.
Yeah.
Man, that song is so perfect. It's so perfect. Yeah, I'm excited just thinking about it.
All right, so I'm gonna pick a song just to get it off the board, but also this is me reliving a moment of my youth to the concept of like, or there's this concept in therapy of like reparenting yourself, and this pick is me reparenting myself because when I saw Paramore play Pressure at Warped Tour, there is this moment where when they sing And There's Nothing Left to Show, this girl in the crowd screamed it in the most obnoxious way. And every time I hear this song, I hear, and there's nothing left to show. And it drives me nuts.
Every anecdote on the show stems from that time you saw Paramore at Warped Tour. It was like one of the most like 4 foundational things that have ever happened to you in your entire life. And I'm not even ragging on that. I'm just like glad I get to hear about it because I'm like, damn, this meant a lot to Tom because he thinks about it so often.
I mean, it's been traumatizing. It's hard to listen to that song and like.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, you got in. All right. You can't steal all of them from me, but I know there's a few bands that we'll probably run through here in the middle rounds. I mean, I know that we understand why they wouldn't play Misery Business, right? Of course.
Yes.
That's a given, and I'm not even saying they should because, what I'm saying, though, is because these are the end times, would this be the festival to do it? why not? Is it on the table? You know what I mean? Like, I was tempted to draft that just because, like, I don't know, what even is the Paramore 6 era? You know, the photo they released was kind of American Gothic-y. No one's smiling. Their hair is long as Like, it's anybody's guess what this era of Paramore is going to be all about. So, like, of course they probably won't. And that's not something that you should, like, expect. But I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, no, it's a good pick. Pressure, like, I mean, I think we did the episode on it. We were like, is this the Paramore song? I think
right.
It's close to it, if not. So it's a good pick.
But yeah, more than anything, this is me healing my past with a chance to see this performed live and hopefully not hear that woman's voice next to me.
If there was a movie about your life, that'd be the best runner ever. Is just whenever you saw Paramore, that girl was just at the show for some reason and it never got explained, just yelling in your fucking ear. Yes. Okay.
Oh boy. Okay.
You got another pick.
Yeah. Dude, hashtag bangers only. I like.
Which is something, just if you're just joining us this week, that's something we've never hashtagged before. I just didn't need.
I need to hear "Best of Me" by The Starting Line.
Yes.
Again,
everyone's gonna lose their voice at some point in the day, and it's gonna be when Starting Line plays that song.
We will kiss, girl. Yeah, dude, totally. And then someone's gonna scream that obnoxiously, and I'll never be able to listen to it again.
It's but just her somehow. Like, who are you? Are you the ghost of Christmas Future? What the hell is going on?
But I saw The Starting Line at Warped Tour, which we all know doesn't count, but they closed with Best of Me, and I crowd surfed. And I remember the shirt I was wearing. It was a white DC shirt with blue lightning bolts, and I loved it so much. And of course, they're doing Warped Tour in a fucking dirt pit.
I can't believe Starting Line is going to be there, Tom. Like, I know I'm going to say this a million times during this episode, but like, also the fucking Starting Line is going to be there.
Oh, it's going to be nuts, man.
Yeah.
But again, I have a Warped Tour memory of crowd surfing during this, and me and this girl kind of merged at one point when we were crowd surfing, and the crowd couldn't handle both of us. So we collapsed to the ground. She fell on top of me, and there was a lot of like untangling to do. And I feel like I missed half the song just being in shock of what just happened. And some guy yelled at me saying, "Boys aren't allowed to crowd surf." And I was like, "What? I had never heard that rule."
You've mentioned that on the show before. We won't delve deep today on that, but it's an insane thing to yell at a concert where you were probably one of like 1,000 guys that were like, "Send me up."
And I was like, 17, 150
without
pounds,
a purpose
maybe.
or direction, Tom, without a purpose or direction.
But yeah, dude, I mean, this is one of my favorite songs of all time. It is just, I got to hear it live. I got to hear it right, which means probably in the back with my arms crossed, just enjoying it. I'm 30, right?
Welcome to the show, folks. We're 30. Okay. I'm going to pick these next two songs, which might delve into your stockpile a bit.
Oh, God damn it.
I know. I'm sorry. But Jamie All Over.
Wait.
By Mayday.
Mayday Parade's going to be there?
Mayday. Yes, Tom.
What?
Yeah,
How
man,
did
that
I
was like
miss
one of the
them?
main memes this week on Twitter was like, I had a dream last night. We all again.
I didn't even see them on the bill. God damn it.
Dude, it's like a Where's Waldo thing or one of those like spy puzzle things where you're just like, there are 10 other bands I didn't see before. I just was staring at it all afternoon when they got released.
Why did I not buy tickets, Pat? What the
No, we made a mistake. The people who bailed on this episode, rightfully so, while we were busy complaining for like 20 minutes, are going to miss how fanboyish we are going to be for the next like 4 hours, because this is not ending anytime soon. Anyway, I had a dream last night. We went to an emo fest in Las Vegas, whatever. The lyrics are perfect. We did that. That was a great episode. Super fun. Made a parade. Jumped the shark. Don't land. Love them to death.
Keep flying to Neptune.
Yeah, just head the out into wherever you want to go. Stratosphere. Okay. The pick for those lyrics, whatever. People already made the jokes, but I wanted to make the pick.
Yeah.
How about this? Are you ready?
No. I'm so nervous.
You mentioned before the show you were going to pick a Taking Back Sunday song. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it to you, but I want to bring something up when you bring that up. Okay?
Okay.
Out of respect to Avril Lavigne, we should have picked Avril Lavigne first, right?
Dude, that was my next pick.
Ooh, okay. Well, which one do you want me to pick? Avril Lavigne or Take Back Sunday? This is a mixtape
it's
first.
It's up to you, man. We're not on a team here.
Cool. Then I'm going to go Taking Back Sunday.
Okay.
You're so last summer. Bring out Flava Flav. Why the not? Misery Business, King for a Day with both people on stage. Flava Flav joins Taking Back Sunday for a performance of your So Last Summer. I'm just trying to think of any possible awesome thing that could happen that day. In theory, it's on the table, right? I think it would be nice. So I'm going to pick it. And like, she said, don't. Like everyone would scream it so loud. I don't know. Not that they should open their set with it necessarily or anything, but.
You want to hear something interesting?
I'd love to.
And I don't know why I know this offhand, but Flava Flav lives in Las Vegas.
Flava Flav, you gotta come. You gotta come.
Be there.
Come on, Flav. Okay, that would just be the best. I think it would be really nice. I think it would be really nice.
Yeah.
So that's my pick, and those are my reasons for that pick.
Okay.
Yeah. You were going to pick 180 by Summer, which is a good song. Which is a good song.
But the crowd's going to want to hear it.
But it's a song that only you and I like when we're not in a good mood. So like, in the spirit of the hype train, I wanted to question whether or not Flava Flav might join for the show. If anybody's listening to this who knows him, or Adam Lazar, or any of them, or John Nolan, tell them that they should do this, because it would be just a delight.
I could get in touch with him. I know a guy who's friends with him.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
This guy I went to church with used to go bowling with him all the time when he lived in Vegas.
There you go.
He has a picture of him bowling with Flava Flav, and he was wearing the clock.
What a great piece of 2000s pop culture. All right, back to you.
Yeah. All right. So this might be controversial. I don't know. I know the crowd's going to want Skater Boy or something, but I am absolutely smitten with the song Bite Me by Avril Lavigne.
Whoa. Okay. I had Happy Ending as my Avril Lavigne pick for this.
Okay.
Just because I love that song. But Bite Me, interesting. Is that one of the new ones?
Yeah, it was the first, I believe it was the first single. She's released another one since, and I didn't love it as much. But yeah, Travis Barker playing drums for her, always a good thing.
That was the other like major meme of the week was any snippet from TV or movies in the last 30 years where someone's sweating, they would screenshot it and say Travis Barker trying to play drums for all these bands. Low-hanging fruit, but still funny as hell.
Yeah.
Good pick. Okay, so yeah, she's made a resurgence. Everyone's, is emo back? What's happening, Tom?
I mean, yeah, emo and pop punk is having a moment, and you can argue whether or not it's authentic or whatever. Who gives a shit? Let Will Smith's kid be a musician. Just shut up, everyone. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Someone released an album. It doesn't have to. Yeah, I was a little kind of, everyone kept. Olivia Rodrigo just had one of her songs on her album that had like a guitar in it, and they were like, "But Haley," and it's like has nothing to do with this. Is really what's going on. So everyone just like relax and listen to the album.
Dude, I'll put a link in the show notes because I was actually really, really angry about that. It's just like people do not want women to be successful, but everyone's saying that it was a total ripoff of Misery Business was such bullshit. And there's a YouTuber I really love who he's like a very good jazz musician who does a lot of theory stuff on his YouTube channel. And he broke down both Misery Business and Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo and was like, there's literally nothing in common except the way this one part of the melody breaks down, which is essentially just Three Blind Mice, which is like every melody in the world.
Right.
But anyway.
What's that thing and from that one, there was some TV show where the scumbag character had a habit of buying old melody, like music basically, and you can sue. Like his tactic was to hire a lawyer and then sue anybody that came out with a new pop song that had anything to do with this one of like 4 pop melodies that get used. And he's just like, they settle, he gets some money, he buys a second house or whatever. And it's just like, just because he owns like, not Through Blind Mice necessarily, but you get the idea, right? Like you can make a claim that like, anyway.
Wait, is this real?
It was in a fictional program, but I have to imagine there are people out there who own quote unquote, just some finance idiot who owns a melody. And gets to like be if he wants to be shitty.
Everyone.
I'm sure it's based on a concept that has been done before. But anyway,
yeah.
Also, shout out to Three Blind Mice. The hype train continues. That shit fucking rips, dude. This shit's a banger. # bangers only, dog.
See how those motherfuckers run right through a brick wall. Okay. Give me. Chelsea Smile by Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay. You know, we don't talk about them a lot on the show.
I love them. And I recently learned how to play this whole song on guitar because I found out that they play in drop A sharp tuning or B flat or whatever. And that's what my new guitar is tuned to. So like, I've never really played this kind of music before, but it was so fun to learn it. It's like, it was really challenging, but not like too over the top. And it's made me like revisit their stuff a lot. And this is a really good album, man. So I'm going to pick it. I would love to hear Avril Lavigne Bring Me the Horizon back to back. Why the not? I think the crowd would go nuts for this song.
Yeah. Can't disagree.
You get a nice little
Yeah.
Who doesn't love one of those?
Okay. Whew. Okay. I hope you're writing down where we are. I'm just going through my list and I have no idea. Probably closing in on halfway through if I had to guess. Okay, yes. Is it my turn?
Yep.
There's a big band you haven't picked yet, but you had a chance to, so I'm just going to pick it. Okay.
I know.
Hey. Okay, let's do this. Downfall of Us All by Day to Remember. Because the a cappella part at the beginning is the thesis statement for this concert existing. So you've got to pick it. My next pick.
Wait, so if I were a Day to Remember, what I would do is I would double the a cappella part, right? You come out, it's playing over the speakers, and people expect the breakdown to happen, but what then you do is you cut the speakers and you hear just the crowd doing it after they've had a couple seconds to like get into it, get a little warmed up. I think that'd be pretty magical to hear.
Maybe like Jeremy comes out and encourages the crowd to keep going for like 2 or 3 times over, and the crowd is just at this point crescendoing into this, like everyone's yelling it.
With just the drums, maybe. No guitars
Yeah,
yet.
you milk the moment a little bit, but I'm trying to think of it's such a, every VFW hall has had those sounds smash off their fucking, you know what I mean? Like those sound waves have just attempted to crumble, fell several VFW halls in the Midwest, more than several, of course, in the 2000s. So it's an important sound to make. So yeah, maybe some crowd work there. Maybe they've done that before. I haven't seen them live enough times on enough tours to know, but there could be an opportunity for some fun there. I really like that idea. Okay.
Real quick.
Yeah.
We are at halftime. So you're about to pick 6. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Talk to our Patreon people. All right, you all know what time it is. Allow me to quickly shout out our top tier Patreon supporters, our emo elders. In this group, we have Johnny Leftwich, Jason Carey, Anonymous, Chris Lukey, Nathan Eshelman, Drew Edwards, Kerry Sanchez, Melanie, Devin Booz, Reed Gober, and Coral Lusty. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. If you'd like to check out our Patreon, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent. There are 3 different tiers for you to choose if you would like to support the show in that way. If you do, you can expect weekly post shows and behind the scenes text, photos, videos, and just a really great community of cool people. We're in this process of really trying to restructure what's going on in there, so there's a lot of opportunity for fun new things happening. Again, that link is patreon.com/reminiscent. Thank you to everyone that supports the show, and back to the episode.
Okay, welcome back. Let's kick off the second half with somebody that should have got picked in the first half, My Chemical Romance. This is going to be a logistical nightmare. Everyone's going to
beginning of Act 2.
Everyone is going to be exhausted and very thirsty and wanting to die. And then there's going to be a shimmer off of a button of a coat in the distance. And Gerard Way is going to be on a float in full Welcome to the Black Parade gear with the whole band. God. Ray Toro's going nuts. And they come in. No, he's not going nuts yet, but he will, of course. All the piano is what comes in first, and then the whole crowd sings the whole first, the intro, When I Was a Young Boy, et cetera, and then they make it to the stage, and they revive the whole crowd through their rock. And I think that's how they should do it. I think they wanted. I tweeted this, but I think this festival wanted it to be a bad experience only so MCR can come through at the end of the day when everyone wants to die and be like, oh, yeah. And they want it to be as apocalyptic as possible when that float comes through. So that's my pick. Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I was going to go for that soon because that's a great way to kick off Act 2, though, man. I really dig that. You know, what's also interesting is I would like to... not on the episode, but in my mind, I'm trying to figure out, you know, there's 3 stages. So for every song we pick, there needs to be 2 songs and 2 bands we don't care about going on at the same time so that you can actually catch all of these in one day, which, again, logistical nightmare, but hey, someone's probably getting paid too much to figure it out. Okay.
And they said, we'll do it again the next day. And they said, sure. You're the logistical guy. Glad we hired you.
All right. So it's been too long without talking about the Wonder Years.
Somebody tweeted the other day, I think it was Melissa or something. They were like, anyway, there was perhaps in jest saying that, oh, is Tom a fan of them?
So there's a line in The Upsides about an army of self-righteous kids who only like the 7-inch. And I think their 2008 EP contains one of my favorite songs on it. You're Not Salinger, Get Over It. There is, before the Wonder Years were like very big, we're from the same state, so they came to Erie a lot. Like it's one of the few bands that I like, quote unquote, got in on the ground floor of. And there were very few videos on YouTube of them performing live, but there's one of them doing this. And at the very end, when Soupy would have been singing Chin Up and We'll Drown a Little Slower, I love that line. What he did was he threw the mic into the crowd and then he didn't stage dive, but he ran across the top of everyone's heads in the crowd and like ran to the back of the venue off of people's heads. And it was so nuts. And like, I already love this song. I used to ride my bike so fast through DC at like 3 a.m. to it.
He did what? What?
He was like,
way.
There's a word for it. I forget. Huh. But it also reminds me of Portlandia with the feminist bookstore who's like, I will run across everyone's heads in this room. And that's what he did.
Wow.
It was nuts. I'll find the link and put it in the show notes of them performing this live because the energy was so insane. And I love this line. I love the message. I heard the lyrics right this time, so it actually holds its meaning.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of emo pop punk bands going after each other's, makes me think of 1,000 Clever Lines unread on clever napkins. Just kind of like, yeah, well, you're a shit writer. You'll never be as good of a writer as me. It's kind of like an interesting theme we don't touch on a lot on the show. But like, Salinger, which I guess, is he saying that he is? Like it would be...
I don't think so.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. Everyone, I think the video we made in high school, this is going to make no sense to anybody but you and me, but we made a video in high school about Catcher in the Rye, and it, I think, showed the right amount of respect we have for that book, which is to say that we don't care for it a whole ton. But anyway.
Oh boy. Okay. I've got some picks that Again, I'm playing the game here. Give me, if we're trying to get the crowd hyped and we're trying to get gang vocals from the crowd, what better than Gives You Hell by All American Rejects?
You fucking asshole. Sure. Sure. Yeah, that's a great sing-along. Can I tell you what I was going to pick by them?
I was going to try to guess, but yeah, tell me.
Swing, Swing. Only because there's a quick anecdote we got to buckle up for here real quick.
I've got anecdotes.
Yes, sure. So I think I've ever shared this in the show before, but like my brother took piano classes as a youth, and there was a piano in the house a lot of the time for like a stretch during my high school years.
Yeah.
I think the first like 3 to 5 songs I tried to write for our junior high band was just some fucking version of like piano, then guitar coming in, exactly like Swing Swing had. And I think you told me that every time politely as possible, but I was just like, Yeah, well, it's fucking good, Tom. It's like really great. So maybe we should think about trying it. No, we didn't have that conversation. But I think the idea, I'd be like, I have been listening to them a lot lately, so maybe that's inspiring it a little bit, but I would just sit there and try to figure out chords and not bother to Google them, which would have been very easy, but just be like, ooh, yeah, piano stuff and guitars. It'd be fucking great. Anyway, I just remember for like a long time, months and months and months before Zach got on his like cosmic plane of whatever creative output, I think we were pretty much just writing versions of the songs we were listening to at the time, which is what every high school garage band does. But I just remember being so taken by Swing Swing, like, fucking, yeah, man, wow. But
that's on
Hell
rules. Yeah.
Gives You Hell's a great pick, and it was a very fun episode to do. I was thinking about it the other day, like, we joke like, haha, oh, we like them. But like, we have talked about them a little bit, and that was an interesting turn in their career, kind of after these like 2 mammoth albums, and they had another one in them, and not just the one necessarily, but I think you and I, that might be our favorite song by them. I think if we really were like, oh, actually, that song's great.
Yeah, I mean, that and Swing Swing are pretty dear to me for sure, for different reasons, but they're a good band. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, they took over the world with Move Along, but I just think like,
yeah,
we must have been listening. There was so much stuff to listen to at the time. Maybe it didn't land for us. And then we were like back in on Gives You Hell, but hadn't not listened to like a lot of Move Along. But it was kind of an interesting trajectory maybe because everyone we knew loved the first one so much. And then Move Along was so big, but it's like, it was kind of like radio-y maybe. And maybe like to a high schooler in a not healthy way, it's like, oh, it's on the radio too much. Like, I think that's why the people who hate on American Idiot were like, oh my God, Wake Me Up When September Ends is on the radio all the time. Yeah. It's one of those small town like radio like situations where you're just like, you're like, you kind of know what they're talking about. You're like, yeah, but like still good though. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Anyway, good pick.
Thanks, man. You got 2. This is your 7 and 8.
Also, yeah, this is the second time I'm doing this, but like, and the All-American fucking Rejects are going to be there, man. Crazy. Crazy. Just nuts. Insanity. Like, you look at the top row and then the middle row, but like the fact the starting line could play Best of Me, and they probably will, and All-American Rejects are going to be there doing what I'm sure is a fantastic 20 minutes of like the 5 or 6 songs you just know every word to, whether you want to admit it or not. Like, they're like, they shouldn't be afterthoughts, but they're going to based on the firepower on the bill. But like, fucking hell, man. All right.
Fucking hell indeed.
I'm going to do Buried Alive by Census Fail, another episode we've done. Because I want to
I didn't know they were going to be there. What?
They are. Both Seosin and Census Fail, I believe. Which I guess on the show I've probably confused the two in the past. But Census Fail is going to be there, and I'm going to pick Buried Alive, which is a very fun music video and a good episode we've done. Well, maybe the episode was just okay, but the music video is very good. Anyway, one thing we learned by delving into Census Fail, a band neither you or I were like huge into in high school, was that Buddy swings the mic a bit. I'm curious if him and Lazara are just going to be swinging that thing that day and not like worrying about them being on competing stages, both doing kind of a similar New Jersey, New York-y, Long Island-y, 2000s pop punk emo thing, and just being like, hey, that's what it was, and we're going to celebrate, and we're just going to do it. That's something that fascinates me greatly, that there was more than one band kind of doing it. Not that you could just get to like claim a move, but like nobody spins like Fall Out Boy guitarists, for example, very much. So it's just kind of interesting to me that Buddy was seen in a few videos doing the swing thing. Now his aren't as like insane and like deadly, but like he keeps it pretty tight. It's like maybe a different style technically of martial art, but I'll just be curious if they do it. Anyway, Buried Alive is a good song and I'm going to pick it.
Man, that's such a bummer. I saw another band on the list and I was like, wait, are they the ones that sing Can't Be Saved? And then I realized that was Census Fail. I was like, shit, well, they're not there, so I can't pick that one.
I did just pick a Census Fail song.
I know. I wish I knew that, because I would totally have picked Can't Be Saved because I love
I'm like,
that
shit, did
song.
I just call them Seosin again? Seoshin. Nukalapuk. Okay. Give Me Ohio is for lovers for this reason.
Wait, Limbeck is going to be there?
Hawthorne Heights is going to be there, Tom.
Wait, oh shit.
But we do have a new Twitter bio because Limbeck came on shuffle the other day and I was like, Tom, I love this song. This song is so good. Anyway, in Ohio, California, whatever, but that's not the point. No, this is a Hawthorne Heights song, Tom, called Ohio is for Lovers, and actually quite big in the subgenre we discussed on the show.
We maybe did an episode about it.
My note is this. This festival can happen in Vegas if it wants to, but it really should have been at a VFW in like Dayton or some shit, or like Sheboygan. I don't know. Pick a Midwestern mid-sized city and just make it happen next time. Whoever's doing this fest, Vegas just feels like it'll be fine, but there's a lot of quality, sturdy, maybe not as many windows as you'd want. Can you imagine if they tried to pull this off at one VFW and just like how many like cigs one person would have to smoke in between their little breaks? Just like would it go on for like 72 hours? Like
I think so.
You know what I mean? Like this entire bill, like it would be more than a full 24-hour day, but I still think they should try. That'd be nice. Anyway, that's my pick.
And the stage is just a pallet.
Give me that sweet, sweet Midwest VFW.
No, dude, they should be in a Denny.
You know what? It fucking should
next to
be
the salad bar.
You know what? Find me. This is an assignment for any Reminecti, Reminephew, Reminiece, Reminasty listening. Find where there is a Denny's across the street from a VFW somewhere in the Midwest, and then we will fucking champion that location hard for the next When We Were Young festival, because I think it'd be important to try to tell somebody that we could do that if we wanted to.
I think our next draft should be for the fictional Denny's Fest, and we draft what bands we want to play at the Denny's.
Gotcha. Yeah, the next, yes,
Denny's
I agree.
Fest.
I'm in.
72 hours straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
One guy that only kind of knows how to work the audio board, which is kind of like nervously. It's not even a guy, it's some 13-year-old junior high kid who like volunteers at the VFW sometimes.
Love it. Oh, I can't believe I thought Limbeck was going to be there. I'm so dumb.
I don't think so.
My next 3 picks, I'm going new era. So for my 8th pick, give me Feel a Thing by Meet Me at the Altar. This is one of my favorite songs from 2020. Easy Core is back, and I love everything.
Here to hear first, folks.
I love everything that Meet Me at the Altar does. The vocal melody on this is so fascinating. The guitar is great. The drummer is amazing. I love this band. I'm so happy to see them playing this huge festival. I really hope they just get absolutely massive, like as big as 4 Year Strong was. I think that they really deserve it.
Did I already pick my 10?
No, you still have 9 and 10.
Okay.
And then next, this is like a song that defined a few years of pop punk, Secrets by State Champs. It's just so good. You've got one of the best misheard lyrics ever. Were you Matt Damon with nothing left to lose? I love it, dude. This song like gets me so hyped. Like, I feel like they're this weird counterpart to the Story So Far, where they just like know how to get a crowd off their feet. And this song gets me so pumped. I know they're going to play it. How could you not? State Champs is great. Backwards fitted hat or snapback or whatever. Dude owns a look that everyone else wears somehow. And it's great. Gotta love State Champs.
Knocked Loose, Knuckle Puck, Neck Deep, Real Friends. They all are fronted by that guy in that hat in my mind, which makes me a fool. But
how was Real Friends not on the... Actually, I think I saw a tweet that it was like, they'll book anyone but Real Friends.
Listen, do your 2010s fest 10 years from now. This is a very, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I was so confused by the Car Seat Headrest pick. Like, they're great. I'm not even shit talking them.
I've never even heard of them.
He doesn't even go here. Okay. Did you just pick 2?
Yes.
Cool.
So this is your 9 and 10.
Okay, then I'm going to go as big as I can with Hands Down by Dashboard, and I want everyone who was at the taping of the MTV Unplugged to be there wearing those same fucking clothes. And for my 10th pick, I want, and this is specifically for Lukey and Patrick McDonough, Story of the Year, Anthem of Our Dying Day will be my 10th and final pick for this fest, because they're also going to fucking be there. Tom, would you walk through 100 miles of fire, 1,000 miles of fire, excuse me, just to go to this concert? Apparently not. We didn't even buy tickets over the internet. It would have taken us a few seconds. But Something we might do if we do this episode someday. Is this a top 10 emo chorus of the decade? It's fucking super possible. It is somewhat of a crime that we haven't even addressed them yet. And my wife agrees, who I say all the time on the show, she's a way better emo kid than me. So if she says it too, then Lukey and Patrick are correct that we're fools for not talking about them before. But yes, story of the year is super going to be there. And I hope they play Anthem of Our Dying Day.
All right.
But I hope the birds from the music video don't show up that day in Vegas. That would be scary and there'd be poop everywhere.
I'm really upset that I didn't pick Dashboard because I actually, while I was eating lunch, I like hand scribbled a note on pen and paper, and then I went to my computer and typed everything in, and I wrote on this paper Vindicated by Dashboard, and it didn't make it into my notes app somehow. So I also forgot Dashboard was going to be there.
I will say this. We recently did a Sophomore album episode. You should check it out if you're just joining us. Thanks for being here. If you're new to the show, we're going to do debut albums and kind of ride that energy next week probably, but we had to squeeze this one in. But Tom's a simple guy who likes Vindicated by, simple pleasures, but it's right there for you when you need it.
I love that song so much because one of the few emo nights I ever went to, it was like we were really new to Denver. And I was constantly frustrated with DC's pop punk scene. We were always going to Baltimore for the good shows. And I went to emo night in Denver and the place fucking exploded when they played Vindicated. And I was like, oh man, people in the city get down. Like it was really nice. And I think just that experience made me love that song even more.
Yeah, I think Dashboard being there, and God, I love going on YouTube and watching the Unplugged over and over and over again. We'll do maybe a few episodes on it someday, like once we have a minute to actually like take enough notes and count all the fucking collared shirts people are wearing in that video, but that would be impossible, of course. We talk about like, and they're going to be there too. Avril Lavigne is kind of a big one, and we talked about Starting Line and All American Rejects, Lest We Forget or whatever. And you can say that about all of them, but he had that car crash a few years ago. Like, I feel like in a lot of ways, when looking at that over, logistics is not part of this particular point being made, but like, I wonder if it'll be kind of an emotional set. Like, he's had a few years where he's kind of been on the mend a little bit. So I wonder if it'll be, not that he hasn't played since or whatever. I don't really know the details, but it's kind of, it feels big that Dashboard's going to be there. It's very interesting. And great. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, is like such a fan. Like, I don't know. He's got some crazy super fans, and I didn't really know that until I met my brother-in-law. He's like, dude, I could go on for far too long talking about that man. Like, such beautiful music. So anyway, it's just kind of cool that there's obviously some people on the bill, not on the bill that, probably should have been or could have been, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it's a nice thing. That's all.
All right. Well, for my last pick, closing down the episode, there's a band that we need to give more credit to. I didn't grow up absolutely loving the band as a whole, but I really did like this album. I love this song, and they have this branding of their guitar work. I think thanks to Bo Burchell, who is one of my favorite Twitch streamers. It's been awesome to watch him mix records and learn a lot from him. Bo, of course, is the lead guitarist of Seoshin, and the song It's Far Better to Learn from their self-titled album, the Beatle album, is super duper good. I think if we are trying to end this on a high note, I'm going to end it on that.
You're a big Burchell fan. You bought a guitar that he plays.
I
know you love your son, but
so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as prized possessions go.
Yeah. I haven't tuned it in 6 months because it has an Evertune bridge on it. How can you argue with that?
How can you? I'm not sure you could. Okay. Rapid fire honorable mentions. The part of the show everyone actually sticks around for. And they're like, we don't give a about your picks. Tell us the ones that we actually like and are actually good. Okay, Thursday, Understanding in a Car Crash. That's for Jeremy. Thursday's also going to be there.
They got some love last week as well.
They did. I didn't want to pick him as a pick because through Jeremy, whatever. We'll do an episode about him someday. But didn't want to give him too much. Anyway, yeah, no, Thursday's fine.
The Maine is going to be there. They've had a weird resurgence into the pop rock genre, yes. But their album Can't Stop, Won't Stop. This is a Hannah album. I fucking loved it. 2008, I think it was. The song "I Must Be Dreaming" was so good. Love it.
What? Portugal the Man already did what? Like,
already. What do you got?
Just kidding. That's a low blow for both them and Portugal the Man, who are bands I like. Okay. Bright Eyes at the bottom of everything, because I'd like him to read the airplane monologue, like to open the show. Why not? I love that song so much.
Sure.
The city bus is swimming past. I'm happy just because I found out I am really no one. Felt like the most profound thing I had heard in like 7th grade. And it might still be. I don't know. Anyway, that's my next honorable mention.
Nice. Something I would love to hear the crowd sing aloud is "Your Guardian Angel" by the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Dude, that was my next one. If we're just going
so
fully
nuts.
back there, then that's got to be part of it, right?
Yeah, for
I know
sure.
Face Down, whatever, but like that's a song that is like, oh, we're going back all the way back to whatever that song felt like to listen to when you were a child. Give me "Taste of Ink" by The Used. All the aim away message energy back into our lives. And I think if I'm not careful, these drafts will only be lip service to our people who listen to the show. So I had to put the Used and Thursday into the honorable mentions this week to make it seem like we were actually picking the things we wanted to hear.
I would really love to hear "Gold Steps" by Neck Deep. Ooh.
Y'all.
In Town with No Way Out, there's not much else to do anyway.
Dude, Neck Deep should bring Dashboard out for his version of December.
Oh
Why
my
the not?
God.
Man? The possibilities are literally endless. Okay. Give me "Sweetness" by Jimmy Eat World, because it's just a great, also, yeah, P.S. Jimmy Eat World's going to be there. So,
wow.
Yeah. Wow. And there's 2 songs at the end of my honorable mentions that are like equal wows that like should have been picks 1 and 2, I feel like. Can I just say them now?
Sure, do it.
"Great Escape" by Boys Like Girls and "Check Yes Juliet" by We the Kings. Those bands are all, what an absurdly ambitious festival in one day. It's going to be crazy. It's just such an insane collection of words. Anyway.
My last one, I'm going to pick this just because, so I had a friend named Portia who we used to work together at the coffee shop, and we always opened on Mondays, which was like a 5 a.m. shift. And she was really into pop punk, but like she was like 4 or 5 years older. So she had the like earlier generation of pop punk. We called it Pop Punk Mondays. And she loved the band Acceptance. For Christmas one year, she made me 2 mix CDs, which of course was her carving off a piece of her heart and giving it directly to me. And she loved the band Acceptance, and the song that she put on the mixtape was "In the Cold." And it's a really, really good song. It's a band that I think I was too young for at the time, but I've heard a lot of talk about them. It's a really good song. I would love to hear it for myself, but also for her.
Nice. I will end this with Alkaline Trio, "Help Me." It's one of my probably top 75 songs of all time. I don't go super deep with Alkaline Trio's music, but for some reason that song got on my radar. Maybe it was Ryan, one of our music sherpas for the show. Maybe it wasn't. He was the main Alkaline Trio fan in my life at the time, but
yeah,
man, I just like that song a lot. So I'll pick it for my honorable mentions.
Did we do an episode on Check Yes Juliet?
Yeah, we did. He
oh, they were making out on the couch, right?
Well, he's like pretty
parents?
disrespectful to the dad. Yeah. I think.
Breaks the window, right?
Yeah, the dad is like not thrilled, and like justifiably so, I think is what we came to the conclusion to. Yeah.
Oh man.
Or like he comes down from the stairs, and they're obviously had been kissing, and he like it's like, wait, he's here? Like what the anyway. I can't remember it all at the top of my head, and I won't because we did an episode. You should go listen to it. Okay. Songs of the week. Closing thoughts. How do you feel?
I'm really having non-buyer's remorse now.
Yeah. No, we started the episode like, how 30 can we be? We're pretty 30. And the thing about being 30 is, and then like, as soon as we started picking songs, it was like, oh, we've made it.
I'm 15.
What's the Job thing from Arrested Development? Like, I've made a huge mistake. So,
yeah, super bummer.
If you got a ticket, it won't be the first time I'm living vicariously through my sister-in-law, but she'll have to tell me how this went as she told us how the MCR show in LA went a few years back. Yeah. But very excited for anyone who's getting to go. Report back. If there's a impromptu Reministy meetup, tweet at the show at _reminiscentfm or find us on Instagram. We want to see it. That would be just great. I think there have been a few festivals over the past few years that you guys have met up at, and it's a heartwarming thing to see. So,
yeah, truly the coolest thing ever. Well, let's give a song of the week before we get out of here, and then we'll head to the Patreon post.
Yeah, also on the bill, the Linda Lindas. So my song of the week will be Nino. My sister-in-law was texting us, my wife and I, about the bands that are going to be there, and I was like, oh, I hadn't heard of the Linda Lindas. So she sent me the song Nino. Dino? Nino? Oh, good. But it's a song about the cat. Yeah, Nino. Yeah, it's good. They're good.
All right.
The Linda Lindas, they rock. They're nice.
All right. Dude, my YouTube algorithm has me down so well, where I started exploring. I think I was listening to Neck Deep, and it took me into this other band, which blended into international bands from Australia, Paris, Italy. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, for the next hour, we're only going to listen to Japanese pop punk. And it introduced me to the band Dizzy Sunfist, which is like the coolest band name ever. Their song Our House is super cool. I think the next couple months will be only Japanese pop punk, but I'm going to start it off with, Our House by Dizzy Sunfist.
Tickling my throat. Tasty.
Well, cool. Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Again, hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. Let us know if you're going, what songs you want to hear, and what would make your draft. And of course, you can stream the playlists on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube Music. You can find the show notes at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/260.
And if you're new, we don't do drafts exclusively. We do music videos and albums and this and that and the other thing. We just happen to be on a run of them, and we'll get back to more regularly scheduled programming, I think, in a couple weeks here.
Yeah.
But had to have some fun with this one because it was hard to ignore.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. On to the Patreon post show. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode. It was such an incredibly fun one to do. Please hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm and let us know if you are going to the concert, if you got tickets, and we just received word of a third day being added. I might try to jump on the hype train and get tickets for the third day. Again, hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm and let us know what songs you would like to hear at When We Were Young Fest. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to you next week. Love you all. Bye, everyone.